Hey guys, Brian Robinson here from Stop It Goaltending, here to go over yet another different way we can integrate with the post, more specifically the VH or vertical horizontal. All right guys, so we're gonna take a look at the VH from the blocker side. Now, the big thing for me, I have a ton of goalies that tell me, Coach, I never use the VH anymore. And I'm not the biggest fan of that. And the reason is, you don't wanna be a one-trick pony, you don't wanna be too predictable, and it's always good to have extra tools inside your toolbox. All right, guys, so now we're going to see the goalie set here on the post. Now, the VH, we got to talk about when, where, and why. Now, again, blocker side, big guy, so he takes away a lot of the space. If you saw me being only about 5'10", there's a lot more space above his shoulder short side. So for me, guys, again, you want to make sure you're very comfortable with this technique. Typically, if the puck's below the bottom of the circle, that can be a safe time to use it, but again, it depends on the situation, the options out in front of you. So we're going to look at two different integration methods with the VH. So first we're looking more at the traditional way. Blocker's kind of winged out, holding the post with his elbow, sticks in front of the 5-hole. You can see he's got his pad parallel to the post. That would be our vertical pad. And then obviously here we perfectly have the horizontal pad. You can see here he's doing a good job of using the thigh rise of his left leg to seal that 5-hole while getting a little extra coverage with that stick. Now, if you're going to use this on a real low angle, a shot from the goal line, you don't want to be ramping your stick out here and putting rebounds out in the slot. That's where it's a good time to usually turn your wrist and keep that puck below the goal line. If you do have to put a puck out into the slot, you got to make sure you get a little ramp. You got to elevate that puck. Obviously not ideal, but if you elevate a puck, you have time, your team has time to get to that rebound before the other team does. We're also going to look at his glove hand. Some goalies, when it's in tight, will actually get it down here because as you transition off the post from your VH, you're a little susceptible 5-hole. So you got to make sure you have good stick position there and that glove there. You don't see a lot of goalies doing this, but it is an option. Most goalies tend to have that glove right offside the hip, giving them a little extra coverage there. But again, guys, if that puck's any higher than the bottom of the circle, depending on your size, it can be a dangerous technique. Now, one of the main reasons I don't like the VH, especially blocker side, you're locked, you're rigid. It can be a very difficult and awkward technique for you guys to use. Anything at the pads, rebounds. Anything at this pad, rebounds. Anything at your chest, you can't really absorb the puck. So that's why you're seeing, especially blocker side, a lot of goalies are tending these days to prefer the reverse VH because it loosens up your upper body, hands are closer to the ice, you can have a more active stick and better rebound control. So guys, now we're going to take a look at the Carey Price made famous dead arm technique. So the dead arm is when your arms pretty much drop down, it almost changes the angle of your leg pad and your skate. You're now relying on your arm to seal the post. Now, we want to make sure that stick stays in front, so if we do need to transition out of it, we're good. And what this does, Ian being a big guy, he can now use his whole shoulder, and he actually does a little bit better job compared to the traditional VH of taking away that short side high. Again, you got to figure out what's comfortable for you and what you prefer. So guys, now we're going to take a look at the glove side. So when the goalie goes to the post on the glove side, we're basically stacking up coverage. So regardless of your size, as long as the puck's in a close enough vicinity and you have your glove stacked up above your pad here, you're doing a good job of taking away the short side. Again, as we talked about all the negative things, guys, you can get stuck, locked, rigid, tends to be a lot of rebounds. You can basically have a good chance of giving up some bad goals using this technique if you don't execute it properly. So we see here, he's got his blocker in tight. One thing some goalies might want to do is get a little bit more ramp on that stick. It is awkward and would be pretty hard to put that puck to the corner on the glove side. And again, this is why you usually don't want to use this if you know it's a shot coming. Maybe you want to opt for overlapping the post or that reverse VH. So see here, we see again Ian using the traditional method. Again, if it's in tight, we can actually drop that paddle down to take the ice away and maybe as he transitions off. Again, that'd probably be a jam play, maybe a situation where that guy attacked more of the post instead of trying to go around you. Now we're going to take a look at the glove side dead arm technique. So again, you're going to notice Ian's now going to drop his glove. Basically, that's what we call the dead arms next to his pad. His pad angle changes. So his skate angle goes basically from pointing almost to the bottom of the circle. Now it's almost pointing up ice, maybe a little bit more towards that far hash marks. Arguably, that's going to help the goalie now go flatter across or post to post rather than maybe chasing the shooter more towards the peak of the crease. So again, now he's relying on his arm to seal the post. The pad angle changes slightly, and he's using his upper body to control that short side and get more coverage up there. Guys, Brian Robinson from Stop It Goaltending. Thanks again for joining us. If you'd like to find any further information about us, you can visit us at stopitgoaltending.com.